No yawning. All
right. I think we are going to get started. I wanted to give everybody a few more minutes to find the room. Good job, everyone. That was like some kind of a real mental exercise test, but y'all did a great job finding it. As I said, this is the first time we have been meeting here for, I don't know, 2-3 years, something like that. It's the first time that the church has ever said, oh, we can't let you use the room tonight. And it was just last minute, it was a funeral, and the only right answer was no problem. And it really, you know, if this is the hardest thing that we had to deal with to get this meeting done or in our day-to-day, we are okay. So thank you so much for being flexible and following the signs and finding it up here. And if you still have guests that you think are coming, feel free to slip out and watch for them if you think they can't find our breadcrumbs to get to this. Did you already start this?
I did.
Oh, great. All right, Jessi is live streaming this, so now I will remember that we are on. Welcome to all of you who are consultants and guests. Welcome to our consultants and guests who are watching this from somewhere else. My name is Dina Kretzer. I'm a Regional Vice President with Arbonne International. It is such a privilege to be here tonight and join with several other consultants who will all be up here at different times, and together it will be putting a puzzle piece together as we share information about Arbonne as a company, about what makes our products different, about what we have found in this business opportunity, and then just speaking from our own personal experience with it. And so we are going to just jump right in tonight. The presentation obviously is going to be going on up here, but before that starts, I just want to give, I'm okay, just like between here and here, I can move, right? Not a good standstill person. Just a quick introduction of how I ended up beginning my business with Arbonne. 8 years ago, when I first heard the word Arbonne in St. Louis, never heard anyone talk about it here in Richmond. We were living here, I was just visiting there. And at the time, I really would have loved to have had different skin and different work to do. And you might think, well, different work to do is easy enough to change, but it's not when you own your company. And my husband and I were already self-employed, so it wasn't like I could say, I really don't want to do this anymore, I'll look for another job, because we owned a business. And the business made a whole lot more sense than my looking for another job. It was a boring, self-employed business, but my skin, you know, definitely you don't just go change your skin, but I had certainly tried to as I was approaching 50 and seeing so much aging, so much overnight damage, and it really seemed like overnight, but of course it was payback from Texas sun that I'd baked in for a good part of my life, and then other states' sun that I continued to bake in even after I knew a little better. Maybe started taking sunscreen seriously about the time I hit 40, which is not a smart thing to do. So at about 48, looked in the mirror and thought, this is what I was supposed to look like in about 20 years, not now. And I had tried a lot of things, nothing made a difference. So I was introduced to the products. I'm going to skip over all the details of that, but loved how it made my skin feel. And so I ordered it thinking nothing works visibly, but I want my skin to feel like this. And after about 4 weeks, I saw visible differences. Now, some of you who are barely out of college don't know the next part firsthand, but some of you might know that if you see any visible difference when you're in your 40s and looking in the mirror, it's huge, because products just don't do that. And there were lines that were filled in that I could see a difference. Others could see a difference, and I thought, this stuff is amazing. And my friends, I just started asking them. No one had heard the word Arbonne. So I was getting them sample packs, just like the one that I had tried from my friend's sister out in Nebraska. I said, let me get more of this. You've got to try it. Never thinking that I would even get, you know, a free product or anything for recommending it. I just was telling my friends, just like you tell your friends about good restaurants or anything. And, or Carly tells me about good sales. And so that is when this friend's sister in Nebraska said, you are just telling people anyway, you should take a look at this business. And I could not have been less interested. I had plenty to do, even though I didn't love my job. It was work, and you know, we owned it, and so it had to get done. And plus, I could not even imagine anything that remotely related, even 5 cousins separated, from product sales. There was no way on earth I was going to do anything that involved me talking to anyone else about a product, especially if they were going to buy it, I might earn commission. Oh my goodness, I could never do that. And I only let her share what I'm getting ready to share with you because she was my sister's friend and because she had called more than once, and I kept making up excuses of why this was not a good time to listen right now because I did not want to waste her time or mine because I knew I would say no. And so you all cannot be quite like I was on the phone because I can see you, but I was in just the, oh my goodness, bored, annoyed that I was even on the phone, multitasking, trying to get other things done, so I would not listen as we clicked through some of the information that I'm going to share. But one thing that she asked me while we were talking was, if you keep doing what you're doing, where will you be in 5 years? That was not the first time that I had, it was probably the first time someone else had voiced that question, but that was not a new question to me because I thought about it all the time. She couldn't have known that. We didn't even know each other. But I thought about it a lot, and I would bring it up to my husband and say, do you realize that if we both keep doing just this, we are going to have to be working until the day we die, seriously, because my husband had left corporate America many years ago and had started his own CPA firm out of our house. And while he was a much happier camper doing that, loved being his own boss for all the reasons you can imagine after playing the corporate game for so many years, I really liked a lot of the benefits that he had in corporate America. I liked regular paychecks. I liked bonuses. I liked country club membership. I liked that health insurance was paid for. I was stunned when we had to start writing health insurance checks out of pocket. If any of you are self-employed, you've done that. And it's like, wow, this is really not as fun as you said it was going to be here. And then and Carly's laughing as if she was at home during all this time. When she was in 10th grade, my husband saw this other little business for sale in the paper and began to check into it. I didn't pay too much attention to whatever until he started using the word you a whole lot. And you would do this, and you would do this. And I'm like, whoa, back up. Why? What part of this sounds like something I would think is fun to do? Because it was pre-employment screening, and what you would do is just make all these calls and verify people's education and background and personal references, and you just put all that information on the website, yada yada. And he said, what is there not to like about it? And my response was, there's no people in it. You're talking about me in a little living room office with a fax and a phone and a computer and not seeing any of these people. But what tipped the scale that made me cave in and go, fine, I'll do it, is the girls were in 7th and 10th grade. I very much needed to be bringing in an income, but I loved being home when they walked in the door after school. I loved being there in the summers. And what was I going to do to be able to still do that if this was something out of the house that our clients wouldn't even know I was out of the house as long as the work got done. And so that is what I started doing in 2000, and I can see how all those years of doing that made me really embrace what Arbonne had to offer, because I got a taste of a lot of the self-employment part. I got a taste of waking up when I was done sleeping, not because an alarm told me I had to get up and get ready and be somewhere, which I'd done a little bit of right before this, part-time, but on a schedule. And I loved that I did not have to ask anyone's permission if I could go run and watch Carly's show choir or tennis or Natalie's tennis or take a friend to lunch for a special occasion. I never had to ask anyone permission to do those things. And I will work hard, but I just like to decide which hours I'm going to work and which hours I'm going to play. And so I really was enjoying that, but I was very aware as the years went by that neither one of us were building a residual income, that the day we stopped is when the income would stop coming in. So that was a continual concern for me. And this girl in Nebraska, my friend's sister, could not have known any of that. So the reason I share that is when you think of those, you all who are consultants here especially, that you're thinking, oh, she wouldn't do this business because you have no idea what goes on behind the closed door. And we were perfectly happy. We were so grateful for where we were in life and for the 2 wonderful daughters that we had. But still, as retirement got closer and closer and closer, it was like we still have not figured out how to create that residual income. How is income going to come in when we stop working? And I realize some of you who are more like in your 20s, that is about the farthest thing from your mind. But think about, what about getting rid of college debt? What about getting, being able to go on vacations and they're, completely paid for and money's still in the bank when you get home? What about being able to save for your first house, or being able to have choices when you do have children? Because when we had ours, I only saw door number one, stay home, raise them the way I want to raise them, and we have no income for me. Or door number two, I still go to work, they go to daycare, we have work pay minus daycare and see how we like what's left over. Those are the same two options that every young mom faces. And many of you here have faced that at some point in time, or you're right in it right now. I had no idea that there was a door number three that existed where I could have had the best of both worlds, better than both worlds, because I could have matched and then far surpassed a full-time professional income and still had the majority of my time at home. Maybe been out a couple of times a week where my husband would have been happy to watch them, or watch them. Be home and be dad with them.
Watch them.
Watch them. You had it right the first time, didn't I, Carly? So anyway, but he could have done it. And I could have built the kind of business that I'm building now. So at any age or stage in life, it's never too late. Again, I began this business the month before I turned 50, and I don't know, I think all of you on my team keep me so young. Y'all keep me running because I don't feel like that age that I am. I still feel like I have the energy of a 20-something, and am grateful for that. So we're going to jump in and tell you a little bit about the opportunity. And I want to just start at the beginning of what you would earn, because that's what you would want to ask if you were in any job interview. What can I expect to earn? And so you start as a consultant, and we show you how to reach district manager. Usually it's in your first 2 to 3 months. 1 to 5 months is on here. That's a good average. At district manager, you can expect to earn between $200 and $1,000 a month, and then promote to area manager. And we have a new area manager that I cannot wait to recognize tonight, where it's the biggest pay increase is the jump from district to area, $1,000 to $3,500 per month, and that is where your income becomes willable to your family, and it's willable for 2 generations. I've never heard of any business set up like that, where all you have to do is, and I'll say it since you asked me this week, and I realized I've never said how it's done. You simply have it written in your will that you are willing this to, and name who that is, and you give your attorney instruction, and they will take your ID number. And so your business continues to come to your family. So that's a very real thing. I hope that never has to happen, but it's good security. Regional vice president, an income between $3,500 and $16,000 a month, and this is where Arbonne makes the payments on the white Mercedes. They pay it until it's paid off. You make the arrangement, so you can have it financed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But when Arbonne has finished making those payments, that car is yours. So that car has been paid off, the one that we have. The payment still comes of $800 a month, but we're no longer making payments. And so at any day, I could go get another white Mercedes, and Arbonne would start making payments on that. So we're eking it out. We're trying to go for a year before my husband's car dies, and then he will take the car, the Mercedes that's paid for, and I will let Arbonne start paying on another one. So I think that's just good to know that it's not just one car that, oh yeah, that Mercedes, that antique, I got that 20 years ago when I got to Region. No, there's more Mercedes to come. And then the next jump is to National Vice President, where the average income is $21,500, but it goes considerably up from there. It begins at $16,000, average $21,500, and goes considerably up from there. So that is just so that you know that there is a real income that can be made, and there is quite a difference there, and there's no right or wrong for what you want to do with this. Some people want it to earn, $500 to $1,000 a month. What a difference that makes in a budget if at the end of the normal month there's $500 or $1,000 more there. And up here it can replace a full-time income, and certainly on up from there it can replace and does replace and surpass a full-time income. So just a little bit about the products, about the company. As our founder, it's Norwegian. It was his vision to create products that were pure and safe, beneficial, and he was on this pure and safe botanical, just commitment way back 35 years ago when the whole world was not thinking about the importance of being pure and safe and green. But he was such a visionary and knew the importance of it. So we have 100% botanically based Swiss formulations. All of our products are formulated in our own lab in Switzerland, where they have to go by the European Union Cosmetic Directive, which is very strict and bans about 1,000 ingredients that are widely used in the United States. And it's really scary the more you read into that. We don't have time to go there tonight. But then it's made in the United States. So I love that's the best of both worlds. We have the strict standards of Europe, but what we're doing is affecting the U.S. economy. It's made right here. And then pH correct, hypoallergenic, pediatrician and dermatologist tested, vegan certified, eco-friendly, gluten and soy free, no synthetic dyes or chemical fragrances, formulated without toxins, carcinogens, mineral oil, parabens. The list goes on. Mineral oils, one I'll just stop and mention, is because I knew nothing about that. And it is an occlusive. The molecules in it are too big to go in the pores of the skin. So if you can just picture saran wrap all over your face, body, and putting in whatever it says is in the product is not going to go past that saran wrap layer that you've put on your skin. And also your skin with all the pores is meant to have toxins continually escaping through it. And once that mineral oil goes on, then that shut down the natural function of the skin. So it is not a good thing to have on our skin, and most U.S. companies have it in their moisturizers. You can go home if you have a little cosmetic graveyard going on under your sink like I did, not anymore. And the only thing under my sink might be the ends of the demo sets that I have out that I'm all using up. But no mineral oil products, but there are definitely many of them that I had when I started. And then next, when you look at skincare, and Arbonne is far more than skincare. We're going to talk a lot about our health and wellness line a little bit later. Skincare, cosmetics, but in skincare, there's really 3 grades. And starting at the bottom, there's the American Beauty grade, which is what you'll find in your drugstores, grocery stores. The premium grades are in the department stores. Most of the brands that I had used since my teenage years were those premium brands, and I had tried all kinds of those, trying to get something to work on these, aging skin and fine lines and wrinkles. Nothing did anything. Ultra premium, I had not tried, because those are the ones that are always just out of the ballpark, expensive, Swiss formulated, boutique, appointment only. And most people, when they get an ultra premium product, Arbonne, on their skin, it's the first time they've had one on there, which is why I can feel the difference. Mine was in the form of a sample pack. Some of you may have tried this the first time if you're a local, because this is one way that we introduce others to the products, is letting them take a full-size set of our anti-aging products for a week. And either way, it's the same potions in either one of these, but when when anyone has that ultra premium product on for the first time, you cannot help but feel the difference and keep using it a few weeks, and you see the difference. So Arbonne is sold through the business model of network marketing. You probably know it's not sold in Macy's or in a boutique. Trying to get through the end before I drank this, but excuse me. But the business model is network marketing, and it is simply a difference in the distribution system. In traditional retail, as you know, it starts with the manufacturer, goes to the wholesaler, the warehouser, advertisers, retailers, and you know that every time it changes hands, there's an increase, and there's going to be an increase for the consumer, because everybody in here has got to have a little chunk of change. And the advertising is the part that is getting less and less important for companies to spend money on, because people do not trust it. The days are gone when you can have a mediocre product and an amazing advertising campaign, because what can we do? Some of you have heard this before, so jump in. What can we do? Facebook, customer reviews. I always click on those customer reviews, and if there's about 10 or 12 that line up in one direction and none that are going the other way, that's telling you something. And I see people all the time posting on Facebook, looking for a good restaurant in this city, or looking for a good, massage therapist here, and they don't want to read fancy ads in the magazine. They want to hear what their friends say. Go here, don't go here. And so it's word of mouth is our marketing. And so happy campers share the products. That's how I was introduced to these products, because my friend in St. Louis who was annoyed that she even had to try one of these things for her consultant sister, was the one 4 weeks later sending out an email to all her friends saying, you have got to try this stuff. Who wants my sister to send a free sample? So it's such an effective distribution system because it just goes from the manufacturer through the independent consultant to the consumer. When I say through the independent consultant, thankfully it doesn't go through our front porch in the form of a big box with tons of products that you got to separate and run Mary's here and Susie's here and just who has time for that. And I'm so grateful. I don't know if anybody in this room that's on my team that's a consultant in this room would have said yes to this business if we had to open boxes and run products all over creation. And that also limits us as to just how far are you willing to go. 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. But because all of our clients get their own ID and PIN number, they get online, they type in their ID number, they type in their order, and it ships straight from Arbonne to them in 2 to 3 business days. So that is another thing that just makes it such a smart business. It's designed for people who are really busy because that part of it, getting the products to the client, does not take any of your time. And so we always share this so you don't have to listen to one voice just go on. And I am so thrilled that coming up next to continue on with the rest of the information is my dear friend and executive area manager, Connolly Stewart. And she is going to pick up here and tell a little bit more about network marketing and what's important.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you. And where am I sitting?
Just real quick, I'll give you a little bit of background on myself. I'm Connolly, as Dina said, and I'll tell you, today was such a good day, so I just have to share that with you guys. I am grateful for Arbonne every day, you know, and what the choices it's provided for our family, but today was one of those days where I was just like, ugh, I love my Arbonne business. We are so blessed. So I have 2 little boys. Grayson didn't have preschool today, Elliot's the baby, and we just spent the whole day doing whatever the heck we wanted to do. We went to the gym, we went to 2 parks, they both took a nap, which is amazing. So, you know, I had a little time to myself, and anyone who knows me, that is amazing for both of my boys to nap at the same time. But long story short, it's those things I could enjoy today because of this business. And I share that because I think it's important to see the picture. That's what my life looks like, but your life could look however you want it to look, you know, based on what you would want from your Arbonne business. I was introduced by my best friend when I was a full-time kindergarten teacher. So like Dina and most consultants here, this wasn't necessarily something that I was searching for. I mean, absolutely, it was not at all. So when the business opportunity was presented to me, I was really, really hesitant because I had just gone to school 5 years to become a teacher. And I always thought that was what I was going to do the rest of my life. I mean, from being like 3 years old, I wanted to be a teacher. But when I got in the classroom, things kind of shifted for me, honestly, and it was scary. You know, I didn't really want to say it out loud because what do? You know, you see you've spent all this time pursuing this career, you know, and then I didn't know if I wanted to do that the rest of my life, and that was only year 1 that I kind of started thinking that. So anyways, by the time, you know, I kept thinking about it, and I was newly married and knew that just down the road choices were something that we were going to want as a family to be able to have children. Then I did look at the opportunity, much like the way you are tonight, and the writing was on the wall, especially on that first page. I'm not going to lie, those incomes, I was blown away. The thought that I could replace my teaching salary and more, I just didn't understand how that could be possible with part-time work. But then when I saw that people were doing it, I knew that I could too. So long story short, I did that, and I have the 2 boys now at home, and you know, I'm working my business like a business because that's what it is to me, and I never want to have to be told by a husband or anyone that I will need to go back to work when the kids are in school, you know. I definitely still have a passion for teaching. I'm just now seeing that it's in a different capacity than what I first thought. So just because you may think this is the path I am on right now, how do I stray from my path? Everything you've learned in your past provides you for the moment that maybe you do make a shift. You know, it just takes you being a little bit brave. At least that's what it took for me. So I'm going to just finish now with our opportunity presentation here. When you're looking for a network marketing business, there are 4 key factors that you want to pay attention to. And this was a study out of this Harvard School of Business. And this professor, found in the study that you want your network marketing company to have at least one of the 4 key factors, and Arbonne has all 4. So they're a consumable product, the marketplace demand, you want to look at the timing and trends, and then most importantly, you want to definitely be able to leverage your time. That's key. So let's go through each of those. Arbonne has all consumable products, which is great. This is something that maybe you don't think of when looking at a network marketing business, but once it is presented to you, you would never want to go sell a product that wasn't consumable, because this makes so much more sense. So when the product runs out, we reorder as the consultant, our clients reorder, which is really the best part. Because our clients and us too, we're all going to keep wanting to have really great skincare. We're going to want to have our, protein powder that we are in love with. People don't stray from that sort of stuff. I know my clients don't. Once they're on the Arbonne protein, they're like, this is so good, I don't want to run out. The same goes with like the eye cream, for example, too, or the Genius Pads, People, they're freaking out when they're running out. People are calling, can you deliver them to me? Do you have any on stock? I'm like, I don't, but 3 to 5 business days. Like, get online or I'll help you and order it now. And our preferred clients can reorder online, which is great because I'm more than happy to help them do it. But if I could just teach them once and then they go online and reorder, that is passive income, and you are receiving a commission every time that's done. Okay, now there is good customer service that is involved in that, obviously, but when you're, on vacation or just, whatever, spending time with your family and you see an order come in and you're making a direct commission from that, that's very motivating. It's exciting too, especially the first time it happens. The next is you want to look at timing and trends and your marketplace demand. So timing is everything, and Arbonne is absolutely trending now, and we are continued in that direction. That's why it's such a solid company to be a part of. And health and wellness, that revolution is exploding. You guys, I'm sure everybody realizes that. You just take a look around, go look at your Facebook news feed, people care so much more now about what they're eating or what nutritional products they're using than, just when I started my Arbonne business, that really, just from then to now, the growth of that has been huge. So, think of all the people, it's everyone. We can share products with anyone, men too, which is great. So with the nutritional and the health and wellness. Internet sales, that's huge. We love to shop online, at least I do, because it's super convenient. I just can barely go to a store anymore, especially having young children. But now that there are things like Stitch Fix or whatever, where they'll just mail it to you, it's so darn convenient. So Arbonne's the same way. You can go right online and shop, and that's great because there are a lot of other products that will show up. The site is user-friendly, so it's really awesome that is our business, basically. If we have an iPad or a cell phone, you can take your business anywhere, literally. So you can choose, if your husband's going out of town for a week to work and you really want to go with him, you still have your business if you have your phone, because you have your web stats and you can, follow up with clients. You've got it all there. And business ownership this is still the dream. I feel like it's more the dream than ever, actually. People just realize that They're not treated fairly in corporate America, that there's only room for X amount at the top. There's a lot of competition that people just get burnt out on that. It may be intriguing for a few years or exciting, this hustle and bustle, but then it's just exhausting. At least that's what I'm hearing from others. So I don't know, maybe you can relate, or maybe you've heard that from others. And either, if you can relate or if you've heard that, that means somebody's looking for what Arbonne offers. So just think about that, how many people there are to share the business with. And then where are we going next? So we are currently in the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, Poland, and Taiwan in 2015. The last two, Poland, we just went into Poland in October. So this list soon is just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing, because we're in the early phases of strategic globalization. We're poised for the largest global expansion in network marketing history, which is very exciting, because if you don't have to know someone in one of those countries for your business to grow to one of those countries. So you may meet someone tomorrow who is Polish, or maybe even just has their best friend is Polish, and you sponsor that person into the business, and then their best friend maybe decides this is a ground floor opportunity for Poland, and then they sponsor their cousin in Poland. Boom, now your business is in Poland and you're here in Richmond. So that's a much broader picture for you to see the possibilities. We're not just centralized right here in Richmond, Virginia, by any means. You can grow your business. In fact, you want to grow your business in other states and other countries, because otherwise, these are just people you're never going to meet, You're most likely not going to go to Poland and meet, people there at an Arbonne party, but sponsor someone who does, and they're in your organization, there you go. And also, we have a 1% product awareness in the U.S., and this is important because that means 99% of people are potential client or consultant. So now you may hear, or at least when I go to parties, sometimes more people know of Arbonne, but they don't really know of Arbonne. Then once I share, they're like, whoa, I had no idea this is what Arbonne was. Maybe they've never really experienced it. They've just kind of heard the word, but they're really curious about what Arbonne stands for. And then when I go into the health and wellness, most people have no idea how awesome those products are, or that we even have them. So you get to share the product with pretty much anyone, which is really fun. And I get excited when I go to a party and no one's heard of Arbonne, because it's like, oh, great, it's all fresh. I could just share away. So the next slide is the time leveraging piece. This is, okay, so here's the deal. Most of us are probably really busy, right? And that's something I always hear when I'm sharing the opportunity, but I'm just so busy. How will I fit this into my life? Well, when you understand the concept of time leveraging, you understand why this works really well for busy people. So, in a nutshell, we're using the number 10 because this is an easy number to work with. You could dedicate more than 10 hours to your business a week. You could dedicate less. Depends on what your goals are, okay? So let's say you dedicate 10 hours a week to your business. If you are just doing that, that's direct sales. You are selling products, but we are a network marketing business. So we teach and train others as well so that we leverage our time. So let's say we teach 4 others to do the same, or you teach 4 others to do the same. You're now being paid on 50 hours of work. You're working those 10 hours, okay? Then let's say you're 4 to 4. Find their team of 4. Now you're being paid on 2 10 hours a week, doing your 10, still following our system. And then those 4 find their 4, and now you're being paid on the 810 hours a week. This is when it all makes a lot of sense. This is when you say, oh, that's why national vice presidents can make that in commission. Because they just have built a network, people have just built out. That's a really powerful concept when you truly grasp it and run with it. So when people say they're really busy, then I just tell them, then we just need to leverage your time, you know, and we can do that. We can help you do that. You know, that's our job in Arbonne, to help you build a team, to leverage your time. So why does it work? So whenever you are building a team, it's super important to have a system that's simple and that duplicates. And so we do. We have a simple system, and it involves shopping from our own store because, you know, you can go shop elsewhere, but they're not going to pay you commission to refer them. So it's best to be well acquainted with your own products so that you can refer them and they can get paid a commission on that. And then we teach and train others to do the same. So we do small group presentations. It can be 2 friends, you know, just around a kitchen table. It can be 10 ladies who are normally a book club who decided to have some Arbonne skincare that night. It doesn't have to be a production. So that's what I love about Arbonne group presentations. They're super effective in small groups. And we also do one-on-ones. So that's when, you know, they could be with skincare. This is our most popular. They could also be with nutritional products too, in the form of a fit kit. But this is called a tester kit. So, you know, if I meet someone who maybe just couldn't come to a party, or they just aren't a party person, whatever, you know, like, here, try a kit of the skincare in your home. This is full size. It's awesome. Try it for a week. We'll meet back up for 15 minutes over coffee, or maybe you'll just come over and bring your kids and we'll have a play date. Whatever it is, we just meet back up. That's the point, you know? And so I hope you see that these work into your life very easily when you're doing your one-on-ones. And then lastly, there are 4 ways to win. We were going through the consultant way to win because, you know, that's why you're here tonight. So just a few more perks of being a consultant. You make a direct commission off of your own sales. When you have a team, you make an additional commission off of team sales. We have bonuses at every level, which is great because I sure as heck never got a bonus in teaching. So I love the bonus. Like, that was something that really did motivate me. It still motivates. And the incentive trips and gifts. The incentive trips are awesome, you guys. So that's something, you know, if you want to just travel, if that's your reason for doing Arbonne, then go for the incentive trips because they won't be chintzy. They will be nice. I'm talking all inclusive. And then the gifts. You're never gifted so much in any other aspect of your life than you are in Arbonne, I swear. Between the jewelry or the incentives to earn this purse or whatever, it's fun, you know, it's just another fun perk of being a consultant. And then the training and the mentorship. These are things that are not just going to grow your business, they're going to grow you. So you may not you could be like me, and at the time I didn't see any reason to grow myself. You know, I was perfectly happy how I was. But now I'm just so happy with the fact that I'm not that same person that I was before I started my business. And that's that's for free. You know, like, people pay a lot of money to have personal life coaches, and, you know, it's like, you know, I just called Dina. You know, I have a life coach right here, and she's happy to help me with that. So that's pretty cool if you think about it. So people really do seek that out. And in Arbonne, we have that because we are network marketing and everyone wins. So it's not that, you know, it's this situation where, you know, your upline or your mentors and leaders, they're there, they want to help you. You know, it's not like, oh, you know, there's that annoying employee again, because we're not employees, you know. So it's very, very different. And the training just goes on and on and on and on, however much you want to plug into. And I like that. I like that I can listen to it at the gym while I'm working out, learn and burns, you know, fit it into your life. That's the whole point. And I'm not going to go through the rest of those because we're just talking consultant type. But there are other ways to save in Arbonne. That's the moral of the story. And then lastly, the question that haunted me, and I know haunted Dina shared as well, where will you be in 5 years if you continue what you're doing now, especially financially? So I knew what I would be doing. I didn't want to become a principal. There weren't many other options of what I really wanted to do to increase my salary, and the increase in salary wasn't going to be worth the stress that promotion led me to. So this just bothered me. I did know where we'd be in 5 years, but the financial part too, like, seriously stressed me out. So if this is you, or maybe it's someone you know, this is the way you fix that. You have to have some of a long-term vision with this, you know. You in Arbonne, you definitely make that right now money, which I think is awesome, because we need that right now money. You know, some people really need that right now money, but you also have that vision that in 5 years I can be, you know, a national vice president. I can be whatever I want to be in 5 years, whereas in your current job, I know I couldn't say that. And then if the last question for you, if something unforeseen were to happen to the main source of income in your household, how long could you get by on what you have saved? So this is just another one of those, like, I don't want to answer that, you know? Do I have to? You know, no, you don't have to. I'm not going to ask your answer. But if the answer kind of bothers you, this is when a plan B is a good thing. And so Arbonne for many people is a plan B at first. And it could stay a plan B, you know? It can just be that extra money that you need. Or, like for me, that plan B turned into a plan A. So it's up to you. And we really do have the ability to design our dream lifestyle. I was a realist prior to Arbonne, so this sounded super cheesy, design your dream lifestyle. Like, I'm just trying to, you know, live, like, just go through this month to the next month. But now, you get to dream. And dreaming is I always say, dreaming's way more fun than being constantly in reality, because we know reality. I mean, y'all know it's not always, you know, rosy. So sometimes you want to have something that allows you to dream again, and Arbonne definitely does. So I'll leave you just thinking, what is important to you that maybe you don't talk about, or maybe you do because you're more of a dreamer. But if you were more like me, what's important to you that you don't love to share because you just don't know that it'll ever happen? It's kind of that it is what it is mentality. You don't have to be in that situation. So Arbonne is our avenue. It's our vehicle to get us from where we are now to where we want to be long term. Looks different for everyone. The vehicle's just the same for us in Arbonne. So thank you.
Connelly. Excellent, Connelly. I love listening to you. So
they can see us.
We're good.
We're good.
Except I had to bring my glasses because I should have enlarged this one. So you may have to help me on this one.
Okay.
Because I can't see a single thing on there right now. But I'll put my
I can
glasses
see
on.
it.
So the next thing that we're going to do, and thank you again, this is my fellow realist, so we are both just love working together because we are reformed realists and
like
actually dreamers with a very realistic path to run on to turn those dreams into reality. That's really what it is. So what we do next is we recognize the consultants on our teams for their accomplishments in the month before. We've got lots of recognitions tonight, and I love this because so many people in their work are never recognized. I never expected it because I worked for myself, and so I was the one everything. So there was no one that was going to come in and go, great job, you know. And like Connelly said, who was going to come and give, you know, flowers for doing a great job, or, you know, jewelry for doing a great job teaching school. And so what we're going to do tonight is first recognize the consultants on our teams who are in qualification for district manager. It's a first promotion. So before we jump into our list, there are sidelines here. And for those of you who are new to Arbonne, sidelines are those who are also Arbonne consultants. They're just not part of our region. So are there any sidelines here who have someone to recognize? Okay. All right. Then we're going to start running here. So in qualification for district, and you know what, Laura and Jessi, come on up here so y'all can read yours, but Connelly, yours come up first here.
Okay, yeah. Becky Stowe, sponsored by Zia Shikatano. She is in Arizona. Erica Lilly, sponsored by Dreamy Jefferson. Come on up. Debbie Russ, sponsored by Dreamy Jefferson. Congratulations. And then Jamie Miller, who I sponsored. Come on up, Jamie. All right, so y'all wait up here for the photo, right?
We're going to get them all there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gabriel McRae, sponsored by Laura Bodie. Gabriel's not here. And Courtney Brooks, who's actually in Maryland, so she's also not here.
Right. Thank you. All right. They're watching.
Okay, next is Petra Combs, aka Mom in Maryland, sponsored by myself.
Then we get the Maryland group together and
I
then
know.
watch from it.
Then we have Dottie Brown, sponsored by Dottie. And then we have Barrett Maddox, sponsored by myself. And Patrick Armano in New York, sponsored by Therese Amato.
All right, and then in my central area, these were all our area managers reading in their own areas. So not in my central area anymore, but promoted out of it is Nicole Sparrow, sponsored by Amy Muir. And Jordan McDonald, sponsored by Robin Riley. We just shedding all the leaves. Y'all not getting any leaves.
Walk down the aisle.
Becky Von Meister, sponsored by me. She is not here tonight. And Elizabeth Phillips, sponsored by Melissa Mann, who is not here tonight. So Carly, would you take a picture of these wonderful DMs and qualifications? Do we get it all?
Yeah.
We're not in qualification. We're not getting up here. So, anyway, y'all don't move too far.
Sorry, it's thinking about focusing. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Are you supposed to be there?
No, they're not. I'm talking to you.
Is it the right side?
You did it.
Yeah,
You did it. Okay, thank you. Aww. Congrats. Great job. We are so proud of you.
Yeah, because I know I'm going to.
And then next, we have a new district manager. So I would love to come up and have Robin Riley recognized, and Amy come up here with me. So, congrats, Robin. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite parts of this business are the people who I would never, ever have met otherwise. And Amy, I'll be talking about in just another minute. Robin, I met at Amy's business lunch because they were already really good friends. I remember just really liking Robin then and thinking she would be awesome at this. And a few months later, after watching Amy, she jumped in. Robin is married, has 2 young children, and teaches full-time. And yet she started this business in August, and as I was saying on the region call last night, I went back, did you hear me on the call yet? I won't put you on the spot. Haven't listened to you, Dana. But I said in there, I realized I'm going to ask you that. You've been teaching. Graduate school. You've been teaching. Well, then you'll hear me say that I went back and counted, and Robin had sponsored 23 new preferred clients and consultants in her 3 months, which is why you're a district manager. You get a gift from your district manager, your area manager, and your RVP. So I was all this for you, but I'm not your area manager anymore. So nor am I your district, or is Amy your district. So anyway, look, y'all get a picture of these 2, Carly.
I'm sorry.
Got it.
Oh, here it is.
I got one of them.
Y'all probably should do it on someone else's phone, and it would be on Facebook tonight. It usually takes me about 2 days.
Also,
You want me to do it?
can put your phone in Spanish.
Yes.
Did you say her phone?
Might be.
My phone is
1,
not
2,
dead.
3. I sat on it. I'm not sure that.
Tell me how to work the phone, and I'll do one on your phone.
Thank you.
So,
Right?
great.
Yeah. Okay,
Their little smiles are going to freeze there. Congrats, Robin. And next, this continues to get more fun. We have an end qualification for area manager Dreamy Jefferson. Congrats, Dreamy. Oh my goodness, great job. And I also have your district manager bonus and perfect brick from the last meeting because they didn't get here on time, and I've seen everyone since the last meeting except you. So this is not this meeting, more to come. But anyway, this is from last, but I know we're going to be right here December 2nd. Is that the first Tuesday? December 2nd, recognizing this one as a new area as well. So
are you going to make her take a picture by herself?
Connelly, get up here. I want to be in every picture.
I won't leave. They say don't leave.
Connelly, Dreamy is sponsored by Connelly. Every picture of Connelly and I too, Dreamy. I'm up here and Connelly's down. And now, drum roll, we have a brand new area manager. I need my team up here. I need my team up here. All right, that's Jordan, Robin, and Nicole. And you beat me. I was going to call them up anyway.
Sorry, but I'm not here without them, so we are a team.
Oh my goodness. All right, and a flower for you right here. And she didn't want to be pictured by herself, so anyway.
No, I don't like pictures.
Well, I am just going to say a few words about Amy, because probably all of you will get out, but I've written on you a couple of books in your cards over here. But Amy and I met when I went to CrossFit about 2 years ago when I started going. What? Smile?
Over here. Okay.
When I started going to CrossFit a couple of years ago, but I went to the 8:30 class or something like that until one day a girl came, and a nice girl came in there and said, "You need to come to the 6:30 class." I was like, "Are you crazy?" She said, "You would love the 6:30 class. There's the nicest people in there, and it's so great to look at that clock at 7:30 and you're done." And it's about a week later, I went, and the nice girl wasn't there that morning, but Amy and many other wonderful moles, as we called ourselves, and Amy's still a mole. I'm a mole dropout. But anyway, I still work out.
You were there for your purpose. You were there for your purpose.
Anyway, that's how we met. And, I laugh thinking about, the months that we've worked out together, and I'm sure that Amy could not have fathomed that woman who was at least 20 years older than the next person in the class or all the people in the class over there, and just like, I did not get cute for 6:30 in the morning class. I mean, there's no makeup and just whatever I can throw on. I'm sure the last thing on her mind is, that woman owns a global international business. So it took a while before we ever got on the subject of Arbonne, but Amy and I met to talk about it, I thought, back in September of last year, and I had my little iPad out getting ready to do the opportunity presentation, and Amy had her calendar out to book her business launch. I thought we were just talking about the possibilities, and her wheels had already been turning on her own, and she has some great dreams and a huge heart, and has been sharing it with others. And we recognized her on her birthday last year for being a brand new district manager, and tomorrow is her birthday, so we're going to continue. And everybody has been asking Amy and sending her messages, how did you do it? So in just a second, when we finish the recognitions, Amy is going to talk. And I know that, this truly, it's a team, because last year Amy was sharing products, and she has such a passion about what this business can do for others, which is why she shared it with Nicole and Robin and Jordan. So don't go away yet, because I have gifts for you. So, thank you. Oh, I see a stray there. And that says Amy. So there we go. There we go. And congrats. I love you. All right, y'all will hear from Amy in just a second. And also I will say that Amy is going with us to Hawaii, because Lynn, our national vice president, offered a trip to Hawaii, 3 days at her home in Hawaii, for those who were already area or region, or those who promoted to area by January 1st. So there is still time if you're in our region to promote by January 1st. Go into qualification this month, finish next month. If you want to know how that can be done, it will be a fast track, but we can definitely tell you how to do that. And I'd offered an extra little incentive towards the airfare for anyone who promoted, and I have learned, Amy, as an incentive. Okay, $500 for my airfare, I'm there, I'm promoting. So anyway, next, you book that flight, and I'll bring you that check. So I'm not worried, not worried. So next, I want to, Robin, we have not forgotten your other recognition, but Jessi's going to explain what that is, so just in case you're worried. Perfect Brick is something we've been recognizing for several months now, and that is having, we call the Perfect Brick in Arbonne, when you have 2,500 in sales, your preferred clients and your new consultants, and have sponsored 5 new preferred clients or consultants, any combination of those in that month, because you do that and teach someone else to do that, and teach even 3 to do that, and you're in qualification for area. And plus those 5 new, that's why I was commenting on how many Robin had sponsored, because those were 5 new that month, but in a couple more months they will be reordering, and then those next ones will be reordering, and that's how your business continues to grow and how that residual income comes. So just helping so many others. So for the Perfect Bricks this month, I want to recognize you with a bracelet, and that is, surprise, Amy Muir. Connolly Stewart. Stand up here for a picture. Jessi. And Nicole Sparrow. And I'm going to get in this picture because I earned my bird, because I don't get in pictures with what, just to be in them. I have to be dragged in. But okay. All right, Con in the middle there. All right, congrats. Way to go. Anybody? And then we also have been recognizing with bracelets those who earn their district manager bonus, which is having 5,000 in their district and somewhere in their district sponsoring 5. If they're earning the Perfect Bricks, that's 5 is already taken care of. And you get a $200 check from Arbonne, and you get a little bracelet in this meeting for me. So some of you are just wearing out the carpet here. Connolly Stewart, Amy Muir. Should I alphabetize these? They're just coming up. Jessi Culyer. Yeah. Dreamy Jefferson. Laura Bodie. And I have mine on because I earned my bonus, so I will scoot over here and have a little baby Bodie. And where is this? Connolly has been consistently earning her area manager bonus, and I just wanted to recognize her because before we started these bracelets, which was what everyone else in our nation was doing, I was giving Starbucks cards for district manager, and I think some of you probably miss your Starbucks cards. But anyway, Connolly, I know Connolly because anytime I talk to her, she's like, just a minute, I can't talk right now, I'm driving through Starbucks. So I know that you can, I know that those Starbucks are, and then come up with me because we're going to do the Visa cards. Because when we started, what were we doing, training on the Perfect Brick 3 months ago, we decided, well, if the bracelets aren't enough incentive, what if, just for fun, to get everyone in the habit of earning their Perfect Brick, what if we offered a $25 Visa card for each month that they earned it? The area managers, we offered that to our areas. And then I said, if anyone gets it all 3 months, then I'll do another 25, so you could earn up to 100 in that. So Connolly, do you want to recognize who in your area?
Yep, Dreamy Jefferson. I've got it over here.
Oh, I wondered why that card is here. Okay. So you can know what it is. Dreamy,
and this is why Dreamy, then you got in call for area. So it is like when you're doing that brick consistently. I know we say it all the time, but then you see it. So congrats.
Like Stacy said, we might just do another picture. Robin earned hers last month, September month. So come on up here. There you go. And Nicole earned hers this month, which I just recognized before. We could have done this while y'all were all up there again. And Amy Muir, surprise, earned hers all 3 months, so she has the $100 gift card in here. She has the $25. So, anyway. Anyway,
Very nice.
great,
Yeah.
great job. All right, you can take a picture of this group too. There's the happy shopping.
Bring
Happy
challenge.
shopping. All right, and then I think we have done it. So what we're going to do next is have Miss Jessi come up. Is that right? No, we're not either. Sorry, Jessi. We're going to have Amy come up. And you know what? I know this is not just the story of what Amy did in these 3 months to reach the area. It's the journey, and it's not just what she did in 3 months to suddenly pop up all this volume in the area, but it is what she did in her work, and I'll just let her talk. But it's been over a year to of what she has learned and grown. So I'll stop talking, Amy.
Thank you. So my name is Amy Muir. Just tell you a little bit about how I got into this business, because yes, I did meet Dina at CrossFit, but it was not that I was just ready to start launching into my business. I have 4 little girls. My oldest is 13. My middle daughter is 11. And I have twins that are 8. They actually will be 9 next week. I can't believe it. I just said I wasn't going to do this, darn it. I work full-time. I work in clinical research. I've been doing that for 17 years. I've been very, very successful in the corporate world. I know that there are many people that have been out there that haven't been rewarded and haven't been thanked for a job well done. But I have not been that person. I have been very well rewarded. I am my family's breadwinner. So when this business came to me, it was not something, first of all, with my 4 children, they're all involved in travel sports. They all play travel soccer. It was not something that jumped out at me initially. It was actually something that scared the daylights out of me. It was not something that I thought I was going to have any bit of time to do, to kind of work into my life at all. So Dina introduced the business to me. I loved the products, but it did take some time for it to kind of sit with me for a little bit. 2 weeks after the business was introduced to me, I found out that my mother-in-law had been diagnosed with uterine cancer. And it was in that moment that I just had this aha moment. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed next week, not guaranteed next year. What I do in clinical research for my full-time job is we do a lot of oncology trials. So I do feel like I've really been able to be part of something to try to find, better cure, a cure or better standards of care for people out there. But I never have really felt like I was doing all that I can. And to get in on the front end of that, I think is what kind of all has kind of come together for me. So I had this aha moment after I digested the fact that my mother-in-law was diagnosed with uterine cancer. I've lost other people in my family. I'm sure everybody in this room knows somebody or knows somebody who knows somebody. It's very unfortunate, but that's where we are today. So I think for me, I had this aha moment that here I have these 4 beautiful girls. I have this wonderful life, but I'm not guaranteed tomorrow, and I'm not doing everything that I think that I was meant to be. So I think Arbonne has given me my purpose, and it was a little bit of not a rough start, but it was kind of a slow start. I did move up, and I did promote to district manager within a year. Within a month. Sorry.
I had to correct that one.
Thank you. But I think for me, what I didn't necessarily know at the time was I believed in the company. I did believe in myself. I believed in the products, but I didn't necessarily see the bigger picture, and I didn't necessarily see that what these products do. Yes, they're great, and yes, they fill in the fine lines, and yes, they fix the wrinkles and that type of thing. But if you look at the bigger picture, and you look at some of our nutrition, and you look at what you're going to hear from some people tonight, we are making a difference. We are making a huge difference for people, and so that we get to be part of people's lives and have give them another day, give them another give their family another date with them, another month with them, another year with them, because we're truly changing their lives. So I feel like that this was all kind of came together at the perfect moment to kind of just wake me up to say you can't take for granted a single day. And so I dove in, and I set my goal for where I wanted to go, and that's kind of where I've been. So truly, I think for me, what changed and kind of from where I started a year ago is that I believe in me, I believe in my team, I believe in helping people, and I believe that instead of looking at this as I'm not selling any products, I'm not convincing anybody to do this business, I'm not convincing anybody to try our products, I'm just giving them a gift, because that's what it's been for me. So I think I think the biggest change on this journey, Connolly was talking about all the training and the mentorship and our life coaches. And I'm pointing at Dina, but there are so many of you that I consider my life coach as well. We add so much value to each other's lives. I think what I found and what has changed me and what has built my business to a different place is that I'm not looking at this as anything other than I'm helping people. I'm introducing something to somebody. I don't look at it as I'm bothering somebody or I'm inconveniencing them. It's just simply sharing. And if they want to get on board, great. If they don't, great. So I think that that's just really what has been the biggest change. There's nothing magic about it. We do have a simple plan. We've talked about that with you all, but it really is about helping others. And so I feel like I found my purpose, and I have found my belief. The Global Training Conference, which I think somebody's going to be talking about later, really helped solidify that for me back in May of last year. So I think through plugging into the trainings and believing in yourself, believing in this business, that really has catapulted me forward. But I could not have done any of this without my awesome, amazing team and my awesome, amazing friends sitting back there. So I love you all.
Thank you, Amy. And since she won't brag on herself, I'll also add she worked with focus and consistency, and that's also a huge part of it, and not start-stop. It was very, very focused and goal set, because I will have
I'm sorry, one more thing. And when I came into this business, I think the biggest thing, if anybody's looking at it, if anybody's just starting out, I came in with absolutely no exit door. There's no backing out. The only way you can build this business is to quit. And I do that with every part of me. It's not always easy. It's not always easy. So if you don't get caught in that just one moment and sit there, you just kind of move forward. And there's no exit strategy. There's no exit door.
Thanks, Amy. And next, we are going to have Jessi come up and talk about, yes, you were next. I knew you were coming. And then right after that, I will come and recognize this. So you can make your announcement that we talked about while you're up there after Fast Start and GTC.
Okay. All right. So Fast Start. Fast Start for all the new consultants. When you start off, Arbonne does a really good job of incentivizing on top of what we are already earning. So Fast Start program is if you sell 6,000 in volume in 1 or 2 months, you sponsor 3 or more consultants who have a starting order of 150 or more, and when you do those things, you get to Arbonne tote, which I see over there. You get an Arbonne key necklace. You get a free RE9 set, and you get a $700 product voucher. So that's huge. And then we also have GTC, which is already, I think, okay, so early bird to get the free gifts is over. But you can still do early bird until the end of December.
New consultants who start up in October still get the free, you get the $100.
Okay.
But regular consultants don't.
Right. Okay, so GTC, Global Training Conference, happens once a year, every year, and it's coming up in April. And when you sort of liken this to if you are in corporate or you own a franchise and you have a big sales meeting every year, would you go to it? Well, of course. So if you're treating this like a business, you should go to GTC. Just speaking from personal experience, when I first started my business in March, not last year, the year before, GTC was the following month. So I went to GTC a month after I started, and I went and then I promoted to district manager 3 months after that. Last year, I went to GTC and got to go to my area manager celebration, which Amy is going to be able to go to. So I had promoted to area manager for the next GTC. It's something they've done a lot of studies or like the research on the numbers backing it up, and you will make 30% more just simply by going to GTC. So that's incentive enough for all those people that like the carrots. So stand up if you've already registered for GTC.
Ooh. Yay, Vegas!
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention that it's in Vegas.
Yeah. It's really warm and yeah.
The pool's nice.
Yeah.
Register.
Thank you, Jessi. You're welcome.
Oh, I didn't mention the thing. Okay.
The thing.
So those of you on our team this year, we are helping a local organization called Neighbors Helping Neighbors, which sponsors children, underprivileged children, and so they will send a list of certain needs and wants and reads to books that they want for Christmas. And so after this, if you could get in touch with me, come see me and let me know if you're interested in helping, and we as a team can sponsor X amount of children. So just let me know after this.
Thanks for finding that, Jessi. And then back to the Fast Start incentive. I wanted to recognize Robin after it was explained. So Robin, just wave at us. We just want to recognize you because Robin just earned all that. She earned the tote bag, and you have the necklace yet? Is the necklace coming? And then now you will get the free RE9 set and a $700 product voucher.
Voucher comes immediately.
You've already got it?
Yeah, it shows up.
Is it spent? Is it already spent? Have you already done it? I know some people, they're not in there more than about 5 minutes before they've got that voucher ordered. I think that's about how long Amy had hers. But anyway, that's just such a great incentive for any of you who are looking at this business. The significance of it, because we didn't have it my first few years in this, and I love it because it rewards those not who spend tons of money on products to get started. It rewards those who get to work and get the products in front of new people and get the business in front of new people. And so that's a huge amount because RE9 and 700, that's over $1,000 of products coming your way to reward you for your strong start. And now, I know we're running just a tiny bit behind tonight, but because I gave a few extra minutes for y'all to find this room. But I don't want to skip this. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're still live streamed. Oh my goodness. I'm walking all over the place. What we've been doing. Well, no, it's Jessi. What we've been doing in each meeting at this point is highlighting, I'm ignoring that, it is highlighting a specific product. But this time it just occurred to me because I kept hearing one testimony after another of someone sharing what being on our 28-day clean eating program had done for either them or a client of theirs. And what we do is educate on eating clean, eating whole foods. Truly, would just eating clean work without Arbonne products? Absolutely. The reason people fail in it is because they get hungry, because food is not fun, because they don't have the energy, and our protein shakes are delicious. The fiber, fills them. The energy drinks are just amazing, and that they don't have that crash. And that is our products really support clean eating and make it very enjoyable to do. So all of you who I've asked to just give a short testimony, Nicole, Dreamy, Laura Bodie, and Jessi, yes. And Alice couldn't be here. She had one as well, but we'll let her talk another time. And everyone, y'all just come on up. Y'all can stand here together. And do it. Okay. And why don't y'all get over here where y'all can be seen, right? Can't they just not see you over there? Is that what you've been telling me all night? Y'all come over here. And there we go. So start in any order. Go. Jessi, you're standing here.
Oh,
go.
Okay, I'll go first. All right, so I've done it twice, and I did it right after I had my third child. So if there's anyone, either yourself or you know of someone that is trying to lose that baby weight, I lost 10 pounds and 8 inches right after I had my third baby, and that was huge. But also, my parents have done the program a couple times. They actually just finished their third time doing it. And the significance with that is that my dad actually got his blood drawn before and after the program, and weight, inches, that's all kind of subjective, right, depending on the person and how much they had to lose before and after. Well, they got their blood drawn before and after they did it twice over a 9-month period, and my dad's cholesterol dropped from 225 to 175, just simply by changing his diet and following the clean eating program. He even so much, he started running, which is, my dad's retired Army and he is retired Army. So he's not big into the whole PT, physical training thing, but he just started running because he had so much extra energy. So.
Wow, that is great. All right, very similar story coming up, Nicole.
I have a very similar story. My husband and I did the challenge for the first time in August, and my husband actually lost 16 pounds. And so he went from, like, you know, average looking guy to actually looking really good. But one of his coworkers noticed his weight loss and asked him what he was doing, and he said, hey, you know, you check this out. So he said that he and his wife wanted to get on, and they wanted to lose weight. And so when I met with them, I was like, it's not a weight loss. I promise it's not a weight loss. It's more of a healthy living style. And when I met with him, he shared with me that he, throughout his whole adult life, struggled with high cholesterol. He was consistently in the 230s. And he's not an overweight guy or anything. He's probably maybe had 15 pounds to lose, but he did CrossFit 4 times a week. And so I didn't want to set the expectation too high for him, but he did the same thing. He wanted to see if it would have any effect on his cholesterol. So he went and got tested prior to starting the challenge in September. His doctor actually said he was crazy to do this, like it seemed too extreme for him, and had no recommendation. He really wanted him to go on Lipitor. And he just isn't a pill popper. He was like, I can't take a pill every day for the rest of my life. I just can't do it. So after he finished, in like the first week of August, he sent me an email, and he said, check this out. And his cholesterol went from 236 to 169, just over that 28-day period. So he's a lifer. He said, I'm on these shakes for life. This is amazing. And it really was. And it was something that totally unexpected for me. Like, I know that I enjoy the products, but that was just one of those things, like, I feel like I had a small part in making a change for the better for somebody in their health, and it was just
What did his doctor say?
He hasn't gone back to his doctor. And I was like, you have to.
You have to.
You have to tell
He
your
has
doctor
to say,
this.
listen, Lipitor.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's just amazing. Almost 70 points he dropped his cholesterol in 28 days.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
amazing.
just awesome for him. So.
See, I hear all these things all the time. Now, all of you need to come talk. All right, Dreamy, I know.
So this is the second time that we've done the 28-day clean eating challenge. We did it back in January, and I was a major sugar addict. My husband, actually, we did it for the second time this September, and he ended up losing 20 pounds, and I lost 10. And for me, it wasn't about so much losing weight, but I was tired all the time, just really lethargic. And the second time around, it was really weird. I was telling Dina, by the third day, I was so alert. I was ready to get up and go to work. I don't know what it was. I guess my body was saying, thank you very much. But he looks pretty hot. I was doing that. And right now we're incorporating, instead of eating pork, we eat more turkey. Instead of noodles with gluten in it, we eat brown rice noodles. We're still on that track, and it's great too when you get off, because you figure out what foods you can eat and what foods you can't eat, and it's wonderful.
So I did the clean eating program for the first time a year ago, and I was actually training for the Richmond Half Marathon. And one of my biggest fears was, if you're a runner, what do they tell you to eat? a lot of carbs, and you get the little sugar jelly beans and all these things to boost your energy, but it's basically a lot of fake sugar and a lot of carbs and wheat. And so I was really concerned that it might actually affect my running time and just my ability to be able to do these long runs. And I actually found that when I was on the clean eating program and not eating any of that wheat, my times running were better. I had a lot more energy. I just felt better. And then what's interesting is about 2 weeks before the race is when I kind of finished the clean eating program. And I remember waking up one day and going, oh, I'm just going to eat a bagel for breakfast. And it was the worst run that I've had because I felt awful after just adding that gluten. So that was the first time I did it. And I actually just recently started it again. And no, I'm not trying to lose weight. However, after a very rough first trimester, and if you've ever been pregnant and had the kind of trimester where everything you want to eat has grease and salt and chocolate and sometimes all mixed together, I was feeling pretty sick. And so I started the clean eating program again this most recent time, but I started a few days early because my husband is doing it with me, and he knew that if he started in the middle of the week or started during the week, he'd be a little nervous that he would be able to handle not having coffee, so we started a few days early on the weekend. But he and I both have just been feeling amazing, and again, whether you've had kids or not, I can just tell you, like, when you're pregnant, sometimes a lot of things don't go the way that your body wants them to go. But since I started the clean eating again, I just feel so much better and so much more energy and so much more amazing. So,
Baby girl Bodie thanks you.
Baby girl Bodie.
And last.
I'm Sharon. I'm actually not a consultant. I used to work with Robin, and then I met Amy through Robin. And back in January, I had a brain aneurysm, and then I had a heart attack. And then I was in a car accident and totaled my car. And Robin and I still keep in stop. Robin and I still kept in touch on Facebook. They had taken me out of work. Robin and I still kept in touch. And when she posted on Facebook about the 28-day eating challenge, I got in touch with her to see if I could go with her to find out about it, because I was on so many medications, having gone through all these things in such a short period of time. And then in June I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. So I was taking so many medications, and I was trying to figure out some way to get off some of these medications to improve my quality of life. And Robin took me with her, and I was hesitant but I heard the presentation, I listened to it, and got home and tried to weed through everything and figure out how I could do this. And I figured, well, 28 days, I can do anything for 28 days. And then Amy set up a Facebook page, and got to meet Amy, and just started going through all of this. And there was a huge support group, and a huge support just being part of that Facebook group and having that daily affirmation of, of doing everything. And I've lost a total of 13 now. After the first challenge, I really haven't gained back weight, or I've just kind of stayed consistent, but it's a lifestyle change for me now. And my cholesterol actually went down 30 points, and I was able to, after 17 years, because I've always had high cholesterol, but I was able to finally go off one medication, which was just a huge blessing to me, because the medicine that they finally had put me on, there was no other medicine because of my heart conditions and the aneurysm and everything. This medication made my hands numb and leg cramps and everything, and it was horrible. And I finally got to go off that medication, having done all the cleaning and everything. So it was just a huge, huge blessing. And my migraines are almost non-existent anymore. I get occasional headaches, but nothing like what I used to endure. So it's just been just a blessing to me. And I just love the products. I unfortunately haven't been able to try all of them because I don't have a job right now. But that's why you brought me.
Wow. Super. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. And that is why I'm walking back to get the raffle bag. Do you have it there? And that is why, tying back to what Amy was saying, why she did what she was, because you know we're helping others when so, we're going to wrap up. I have just a quick two. I just shortened my close from 10 minutes to 2, so you'll be glad to know that I'm not going to be long-winded at the end. And Dottie and Vera, why don't y'all come up here and do the raffles?
Yay! Okay.
So, just draw. We never do them because I can't see them. So, Vera, why don't you run them? Okay. Dottie can read them, and you just take a product.
Oh, no, read it?
Oh, well, maybe we should split.
Oh, golly.
Maybe Dottie runs and you read.
Okay, so number 929871.
Carly was after me.
929871.
It's mine, but we can't find it.
Okay.
Okay.
But you trust me, right?
It has to be. Everybody else is okay. I'm like, okay.
All right, everybody have your tickets out.
Oh, here it is. Just
Yeah. We trust you. Okay, 929869.
Let's do it.
Right down in here. Shake it up a little bit. 929849.
I know.
You have to believe it. Like
You do.
I do.
This is really
I expect it.
I'm kind of close to that. 929842. That's supposed to be mine.
Thank you.
929845.
That's right.
Are you gonna have to back?
Is that the end?
The last one's Carly. Okay. And 929865.
Well, you'll be glad to know that I just shortened this to 2 minutes. And now I've got my close written for next month too, because I'm not getting to say everything that I have planned to say. But you know what? I wouldn't have traded a minute of hearing all of those testimonies that you all just shared. And that is just, you know, that was worth that. That should be our close right here. But I've got to say one more thing. I shared this last March because I had just gotten this book when I had the area manager VP training out in Scottsdale. And I come back and I was reading all this. It's how many people does it take to make a difference? One. And there's all these different little stories and testimonies in here. And some of you are too young to even know who this quote is from. It's Irma von Beck. Who knows if you're close to my age? Okay, there we go. Thanks, baby boomers. She wrote hilarious columns, literally 4,000 columns in the newspaper in her 31-year career. And she was so funny. But this is not one of her funny quotes. This is a very heartfelt quote that I just love. She says, "When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me." And ever since I read that, I thought about that constantly, and I thought, you know, how different my life would be today if I was still sitting in that boring little office doing nothing but fax, phone, and paperwork. And I knew for sure that I was meant to make a difference in other people's lives, and this business has given me the way to be able to do that. And of all the things, you know, some people think, oh, but I, you know, have a degree. I would, you know, so many people, or Connolly said that, oh, I have my master's degree, I have to use it. You know what, I've never felt that my college degree was not used, or my work experience, or all of my life experience. In fact, I needed all of that, and I needed a whole lot more. I needed to grow personally and as a leader, to be able to lead others to reach their full potential too. And not of all the things that I've done, this business is the one that will make me say, I used up everything you gave me, because it gives me such opportunities in others' lives. And I told Connolly, I said I felt torn between sharing this one thing, but you all, I hope, know me well enough to know when I say this. This is not to call attention to anything me, but to our team, to our region, because we were, and I do mean we, because the person that came up with the "there is no I in team," it is such a true statement. But we as a region were just a breath away from being to that halfway to nation point the last couple of months, really, really close to it the last month, to where we basically are, except we just can't say that because we missed it by 2,000, but are at the halfway to nation point. But that's, you know what, that's there. And the only reason I say that, and I know my team knows me well enough, and I hope that those of you who have never met me before tonight know that I'm not saying that for me. It is you all. It is all of you together, and what it means to me. I know we show that commission chart at the beginning, and most of us, just like Connolly said, I looked at the numbers. I thought, here's what I'll earn as district, here's what I'll earn as area, what I'll earn as region. It didn't take me very long in this business to know that becoming any of those were anything about what I would do. And so as I stand here looking at our team becoming a nation in the next few months, there really is not an I in it. I mean, think about I, nation, national vice president. I think of we as a nation, of the compassionate, caring, wanting to help people that I have gotten to know in this. And it means helping new consultants promote to district. It means helping all of you district managers promote to area, and the area managers promote to region, and all of us helping and supporting each other. And and seeing who else we can help, like hearing all of you up here. So that is just what I wanted to share, because you'll need to know what you all are accomplishing together. And I love each one of you. So thankful for you. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll be back Tuesday, December 2nd is the one. Oh, I moved again.